Hello and welcome to the program On the Move. My guest in this edition of the program is a person who the whole world and the entire country knows. A renowned scientist, a person who actually pioneered the green revolution in the country. Professor M.S. Swaminathan with us in the lawns of Hotel Pinewood here in the Meghalaya capital, Shillong. Extremely honored to have you, sir, in this program. So what brings you to Shillong?
Shillong, I came for the Indian Science Congress, the 96th Congress, the first time out of 95 years is being held in the Northeast. So it's a very significant Congress. And I have been associated with this region for the last 40 years. So naturally I have to come.
Sir, what's your take on the potential of this region, sir? If you can tell us a little bit about the type of initiatives which have been taken by the government of India for the development of agriculture in this region. I understand, sir, you are also the chairperson of the National Commission for Farmers. What's the type of initiatives which have been taken for the Northeast India in terms of the agriculture and the farming communities?
Well, the government's initiatives for the last many years, many decades from Jawaharlal Nehru's time, has been how to get the maximum benefit for the people of this region from the enormous, beautiful natural resources. You see the beauty of the place here and the natural resources, a mega biodiversity area, one of the 8 major mega biodiversity areas in the world, unique flora and fauna and cultural diversity, beautiful people. But still in the midst of all this, there is extensive poverty, unemployment. So that the challenge is to how to convert the natural resources of sunlight, of flora, of fauna into wealth and jobs meaningful to the people. So the government has had 3 major kinds of strategies over the period. The first was how to arrest soil erosion and environmental degradation, because ecology is number 1. There have been practices, long-standing practices like jumming or shifting cultivation, which are relevant, which are very important because they were the ones which saved them in the past. But now if the unscientific jumming leads to enormous soil erosion, degradation of the soil and so on. So first is how to conserve the nature of this place, soil, water, and heavy water here over. The whole region has over 2,000 millimeters of rainfall, and Cherrapunji or Sora as it is now known, world famous for over 12,000 millimeters of rainfall. But it's an irony, between January or December to April, water is scarce here, and that means water has not been harvested, water has not been stored. So the government has been emphasizing, number 1, on the ecological foundations, strengthening them here, how to ecological security of the Northeast. The second has been to give them more high value crops. There have been a number of attempts to bring in horticultural crops. There is a large horticultural mission here in order and now you can see the whole of Delhi, the flowers are all from the Northeast, whether it is anthuriums from Mizoram,
or
beautiful flowers, orchids and so on. So this is a number 2nd strategy, how to give them higher value crops and how to improve marketing, because distances, lack of transportation, lack of roads, there have been about ropeways have been talked about for a long time and so on. Thirdly, how to ensure the food security of this region. There are major crops like maize or rice. You see, rice is such a wonderful crop. We grow it below sea level in Kuttanad in Kerala and high altitude, several thousand meters here. It's one of our great blessings which is going to help us to withstand the onslaught of climate change and global warming, rice crops. So we have to, the 3-pronged strategy of food security, of ecological security and livelihood security. These are the 3 pillars of the programs. Now more recently, number of programs have been added. The Meghalaya government has also started a water harvesting mission, National Water Harvesting Mission, and the Government of India has set up a rain-fed area authority. And I hope at long last the people of this region will come up, and above all, the infrastructure for science and technology. In 1972-74, I personally went around the whole region, identified centers for what is called the Indian Council of Agricultural Research Northeast Complex from Barapani onwards. Now those are all, and then special centers for Mithun and yak, the unique animals of the Himalayas, and of pig, which they like. So we have the scientific infrastructure, and above all NEHU, Northeastern Hill University, which is the host of the Science Congress, and large number of other universities and institutions in this region. So we hope, I think the takeoff stage for this region has come. And if there is enlightened political leadership, if there are strong professional backup, and above all, people's participation. Unless you have the political will, the professional skill, and the people's participation, nothing can happen.
Professor Swaminathan, you said a very important thing about the leadership, the type of leadership which we require in almost every field, sir, for things to improve. Sir, you have visited all over the world and all that, and your experience is like something which you can share with us. Sir, the type of, talking about rice, so our experience in the state of Meghalaya, probably in the northeast, we have seen farmers are growing for years and decades, growing the same crop, rice, but their economic situation has not improved, sir, because we see, a little bit of probably a home has come up, a TV has come up, but not the sense of prosperity, sir.
That is really the tragedy of our countryside.
Yes, sir.
Because agriculture somehow has not been given an orientation towards more income and more skilled jobs. The younger generation don't want to stay in agriculture. Even farm graduates, they don't go on to agriculture. They like to go to banks or other jobs and so on. So unless we make agriculture more intellectually stimulating and economically rewarding, this is why the national policy for farmers, which was announced by government on the basis of our recommendation of the National Commission on Farmers, that places the greatest emphasis that we must now go hereafter have our agricultural policy to increase the income of the farmer. Not so much million tons of rice, million tons of wheat, but the income of the farmer. Because after all, for organized, we have got to pay commission, we have increased the salary of everybody. But what about the farmer? So unless farming is more economically rewarding, you will find that diminishing interest among the younger generation won't come. But on the other hand, it's a very dangerous thing, because with a population of over 110 crores even now, and which will reach probably 130, 140 crores in another 30 years, who is going to feed us? We have to feed ourselves. And therefore, we can't allow agriculture to go down. It must go up. That means there must be more. There are two important requirements. One is a small farm management revolution. Most of our farms are very small. And then with, more and more with partitioning of the land, more and more tiny plots.
Fragmentation of the land.
1 acre, 1 hectare, most of the 80% of the plots are 1 acre. Right? Now we have to give, how do you give the power of scale, economy of scale to these small producers? For example, in the case of milk, we have what Gandhiji called production by masses. We don't have the mass production technology of the West. In dairy, we don't have huge dairy. We don't have dairy. People owning 1, 2 buffaloes, 3 buffaloes, 1 cow, 2 cows. But we are the world's largest producer of milk. How did it happen? Because of the organization, management. In other words, through cooperatives. Getting the farmers, getting the right price for them at the right time. Therefore, similarly, we must also bring in agriculture, crop husbandry. Animal husbandry, we have progressed in forming cooperatives. But in crop husbandry, we must try to organize the people into their own companies or self-help groups or some method, groups in the area, a group of people, group insurance. We must have policy framework to promote more and more group cooperation. That's one part. So one is the small farm management revolution. The other is the technological revolution. The Green Revolution was the product of technology and public policy, synergy. Now we are stagnating, what is called the fatigue of the Green Revolution. Therefore, we now need another dose of technology, technological upgradation, which are ecologically sound. That is why what I call evergreen revolution. That is, evergreen revolution is improvement of productivity in perpetuity without ecological harm. And that is what we needed. And that's what the main focus of this Science Congress here, 96th Science Congress, how to usher in an era of evergreen revolution in the Northeast.
Dr. Swaminathan, the aspect which you just said, the growth in perpetuity, say the country is talking about the second green revolution, more, as you said, 130 to 140 crore population and in the next 20 to 30 years. Sir, With the type of public policy announcements which are taking place and all that, what else do you need, sir? What sort of, the government has said that we are concerned about the slow agricultural growth, but what more you
That
feel
is
can be
why
done?
the present government set up soon after they took office
Yes.
the National Commission on Farmers
Yes.
with very clear terms of reference.
Yes.
That commission's reports have been praised universally all over the world. Many other countries are following the recommendations. And the first step got taken by government is to introduce the national policy for farmers. But one thing is to have a policy on paper, the other is policy on the ground. The policy must be converted. First, the Green Revolution took place because four important ingredients came together, like a good cook, what we call symphony orchestra, a symphony. Four people came together. One is the scientists and technologists who developed the new varieties and so on. Then there was the policy makers like C. Subramaniam, Jagjeevan Ram, Indira Gandhi and Lal Bahadur Shastri, who gave the slogan Jai Kisan, Jai Jawan. Now they provided the political support. Then came the more important thing is the organization of the inputs needed. You see, I can have a new variety, but if the farmer does not have the seed, it doesn't matter anything to him. So the production of seed, the production of fertilizer, electricity, water, pumping water, the whole of Punjab, the groundwater revolution took place. So above all, ultimately, it's assured and remunerative marketing, which creates enthusiasm. You see, I worked for 4 months very hard in sun and rain I work. Then at the end of it, if I don't get a fair price, then so government ensured a prices commission and an assured marketing through the Food Corporation of India and other agencies. So that made farmers very enthusiastic. So farmers' enthusiasm, organization of services, right technology, and right public policy, if these come together, then you have a progress. Today, it is not happening. That's why, although political leaders talk about second green revolution, in my view, nothing will happen because they are not putting all the ingredients together. And above all, the farmers today in the countryside are in a great era of sorrow because they find that the economy is poor, cost of living has gone up, the cost of inputs have gone up, and weather is getting more and more uncertain, and with the onset of climate change or global warming, the risk will increase further. Who is going? There is no proper insurance, so farmers are in distress, and if the farmers are not happy, then nation cannot be happy.
Dr. Swaminathan, I know the case of farmer suicides and all that has attracted attention all over the world, as also in our country. Do you think it is the market forces which has taken over much, and that is not allowing the type of security which was there once upon a time?
The era of farmer suicides in our country is a very unfortunate chapter for agricultural history. Of course, the suicides take place for a variety of reasons. Primarily triggered by the economics of farming, unfavorable economics of farming, but also their own other domestic needs, money, health, for example, about 30% of the loan. Many people who committed suicide are all for health purposes. We hope the National Rural Health Mission and other kinds of new activities will help them. But it is a sort of a early warning. It is an alarm bell. What is happening? We must not just put it as a. You should not be just treating it like a bushfire. So that you put bushfire here, you have some package here. You must go to the root cause. The root cause of the problem. The root cause of the problem is the growing risk in agriculture at all levels, production and marketing. Secondly, the small uneconomic holding. Thirdly, the price which is not very remunerative. And therefore, and with the world trade also, sometimes the imports are being done at the wrong time. With the result it depresses the local prices. Above all, government announces support prices for over 25 crops. But actually it is implemented only for wheat and rice. If you go to countryside, jowar, bajra, ragi, the other thing we should do is to revive. This region, beautiful region, used to have until the last century 170 crops for their food and 400 crops for their medicine. Now they have become all wheat and rice or maize, three or four crops.
Excellent.
Now we have to revive the older crops because they are all resistant to drought and many other problems. So I think we need a completely restructuring, but that has to be done. Agriculture is a highly location-specific profession. Unless in our constitution also, that is why agriculture is a state subject. Unless we ensure that the state governments and the local bodies. If you look at the Constitution Amendment 73, Panchayat Raj Institution, Schedule 11, you find a large number of responsibilities given to them related to agriculture. It starts with agriculture, agriculture extension, then water harvesting, then soil conservation.
So
But we must now, there is no, having constitutional provision is one, but empowering them, empowering them
absolutely,
legally,
Professor.
financially, technically, is very important.
Mr. Swaminathan, in a state like Meghalaya, which has 5 agroclimatic zones, and we have this huge success story on strawberry.
Yes.
Sir, what is your take on this situation? Like when we see a state coming up with a success story on a particular crop, the entire farming community gets encouraged to do the same thing, resulting in a glut in the market. So these isolated pockets, do you want
This is where, we in the Farmers Commission earlier, for a long time, have been recommending there must be strong land use commissions in the states, which advise the farmers proactively. This is the market, don't grow more than this. Our base is on market opportunities,
Very well said,
based
sir.
on meteorological conditions and marketing conditions. These two we should advise them. Today what they do, they see one farmer getting a lakh of rupees from the strawberry per acre. Then everybody, see, same thing happened in Kerala some years ago. Vanilla, when vanilla cultivation first started, they were getting 1 or 2 lakhs per acre. Then everybody went to vanilla. The prices collapsed. Because after all, these are all demand and supply. It is not like wheat or rice which we eat. So I think what is needed is, farmers are working on their own. They don't have proper advice. Unless you can give them advice before the onset of the season, not afterwards. That strawberry this year, don't grow more than 1,000 acres of strawberry. Otherwise you will be in difficulty.
some sort of a warning or some sort of a...
That you see, they are all struggling on their own. Our extension services, according to the Planning Commission, sort of not functioning well, and everybody. And fortunately today the media can be mobilized. That is why we have started what is called the Gyan Chaupal movement, Village Knowledge Center. We have, you see, we have gone to Chandra and the moon and so on. We have enormous capability, we have so many satellites. So we can now take the modern information communication technology with the internet, with the FM radio or community radio, cable TV, and above all the cell phone. These can give them correct advice at the right time. Supposing there is going to be a disease like the poultry disease, H5N1 strain, you must give them early warning, how to do it and so on. So what is the lesson of today's agrarian distress is the fact that unless they are given the right advice, the right time, and they are given the right price and proper price for their commodities, and marketing is ensured, I don't think our agriculture will continue to be in difficulty.
Dr. Swaminathan, the issue of bringing a newer talent and research into basic sciences, it's an issue which is concerning everyone. And I understand the presently going Science Congress is also dealing with this as its focal theme. Are you worried, sir, that the younger generation is more into technology, better jobs, management, rather than basic sciences?
There's a general disinterest in science education, largely because I think our parents who advise the young children, parents advise them according to job opportunity. They say now BCom or management or information technology has more jobs. So everybody goes there. In science, they can go as a teacher or a scientist. Although, I must say, government has announced so many new institutions and they don't have people. So many new IITs, the same IIT people have to go to another IIT. That is why I suggested in the Northeast, where agriculture, over 80% of the population is rural and agrarian. So we must create a large manpower. People from outside can come for some time, but then they don't really feel, they go back and so on. So this, in my own talk in the Science Congress, is suggested to start with about 1,000 young women and men who have done their Bachelor of Science degree, should be selected now and given fellowships to do MSc and PhD in agriculture universities, veterinary universities, fisheries universities, and then inducted into what we call the Agricultural Research Service, which Government of India, at my instance, started in 1975. It's a wonderful service. So immediately we'll have a pool of 1,000 people. That's how the Chinese built up. The Chinese sent large number of people outside, and China You see, about 20 years ago, China was backward in every aspect of science than us.
Okay.
Today, they have gone far ahead because human resource. Who does the science? It's the people who have to do this. The creative mind, dedicated mind. They are the ones who produce.
Have they gone ahead of us?
They have gone ahead of us in every respect. Every field of science they have gone ahead, whether it is genetics, human genome. They were the first to announce the rice genome. Their yields are about 3 times higher than our average yields. And so China has leapfrogged because they put the right emphasis. They put the right emphasis on the human resource. Because countries which neglect human resource and overvalue land and material resources will always remain poor. So Science Congress therefore has put the right emphasis on education. And we must start it from the childhood. We have in my center in Chennai and other places a program called Every Child a Scientist. Every child a scientist. Start from the young children, from the preschool and above. Excite them on science. You must see those people. We have also for the blind children the touch and smell garden where they can identify the plants, name them. So you must now have pedagogic methodologies starting at a young age, science education. People like C.V. Raman, when they gave a lecture on why the sky is blue, I have seen Ahmedabad, the children were looking like that. You see, we have to excite them. And that is why Children's Science Congress is very important. And but we must have a national movement.
Sir, what are your postulates for the overall growth of our economy, especially the agricultural sector, because you have worked so extensively on this, something which will bring some sort of a degree of prosperity for our farmers, sir, to continue what we have said.
See, agriculture in our country is not just a food producing machine. It's the backbone of the livelihood security system of 70 crores of people. Therefore, it is the largest private sector enterprise. Many times people don't look upon agriculture because there are 115 million decision makers. They own their own land. Now so it is the largest private sector enterprise, and if agriculture goes wrong, nothing else will go right in this country. And therefore, overriding priority should be given. When I say agriculture, I mean crops, animals, fisheries, forestry, food processing, and a whole series of products and so on. There lies the future of the country. Industrialization is important. Both are important, agriculture and industry. But modern industry does not promote many jobs. It promotes jobless growth. Only agriculture can promote job-led growth. And what is this country need is an opportunity for work. Large number of young people. Why do they abandon science, go somewhere? Because that's where they think the jobs are. The people go where the jobs are. So the job famine is also responsible for food famine in the household. Therefore, I would say the time has come for us to once again go back to Jawaharlal Nehru's statement in 1947. Everything else can wait, but not agriculture. It is time now to think about it again.
Professor Swaminathan, the last aspect, like anything about Northeast India, sir, if you would like to say specifically, the region has so much of potential, sir. You had said it in the beginning. Anything specific, sir, which the region can do much more, sir?
The Northeast India is standing on one of the most beautiful scenic spots. It is God's own, Keralites call their country as God's own country. This is also God's own country. People are nice, hardworking, very hardworking. They are also philosophical in their outlook, music and dance and so on. They don't care about the difficulties. They have a very positive attitude towards life. That's what I find in this region. Now we must bring in a large influx of ecologically sound technologies for them so that they can convert their natural resources into jobs. We must have innovative approaches. There is no point in a business as usual approach. Something which works in some other part of the country will not work here. Above all, take them into confidence, let them prepare the plan. That is where the Rashtriya Krishi Vikas Yojana, 25,000 crore project, ask state governments, for every district you prepare the plan. We don't prepare from Delhi, you prepare the plan. But the state government should involve the farmers, the people. What are their problems? How to overcome them? So if we really go back to ensuring that our human wealth is our greatest wealth and give them importance, give them dignity, and this region in particular can provide a wide range of very valuable material. The home of the bamboo, for example. Bamboo we need all over the country. Bamboo can make excellent plywood. Then you have the home of the flowers, home of the orchids, home of the rice there's a temple in Along in Arunachal where they have put a portrait of a woman who was the first to cultivate rice in the world, the dignity of woman, because matrilineal society. We have to learn from them gender justice, gender equity, and also a more happy society. And so that's why I said, we, Government of India, all of us who have got knowledge, must help the people to enter an era of biohappiness. Biohappiness which comes from the sustainable use of our bioresources.
Professor Swaminathan, excellent to talk to you, sir.
It was a pleasure.